This is for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation podcast. With 40 years of playing PlayStation and 6+ years in that games media combined, I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to join in future conversations, please check out our socials, our Facebook, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all the links in the description below.
If you want to join the PlayStation conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures where you can watch us record this show live. And on top of that, you can interact, you can get in there in the chat. Right now we're having a discussion around fan noise with PlayStation because, boy, do I have to talk about that a little bit today. Additionally, if you want to support the show, and you can by sharing the conversation, tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. Be sure to go on the YouTubes, like, subscribe, notification shit, podcast services, 5-star ratings, and all that crap. You also support us financially, patreon.com/thepopculturist, or you can buy our merchandise, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Fucking dressed up all fancy today, Max.
Yeah.
Threw me off guard. Here I am in, tracky pants and an old busted.
Well, see, this is my usual Sunday get up, so it's no. I was literally. It's too cold for a t-shirt. It's not cold enough for a jumper. I'll just put a long sleeve shirt on over the top and walk out the door.
I've been because this weekend has been Last of Us weekend. I haven't watched any wrestling yet. I actually haven't watched wrestling all week.
Good luck, buddy.
Buddy, watching the chat. Have a good show. I'll catch you Monday. Back to Last of Us. No worries, buddy. We'll talk to you Monday. So got my tracky pants on, got my Ugg boots on. I'm living the best life this weekend. This weekend has just been. Spoke to the wife. I'm like, playing Last of Us. That's all I'm doing this weekend. So we'll go be social. I'm like, can I play Last of Us afterwards? She's like, yes, next week. But yeah, so that's been the whole thing. So in terms of what we've been playing, the answer is Last of Us. But how have you been anyway?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good week.
Yeah?
Yeah. Not much has changed.
Yeah,
just doing it, going through the motions, but yeah, it's been a good week.
Nice, very nice.
What about yourself?
Yeah, about the same, man. As we talked about last week with work, the new site's up and running. That kicks off as of tomorrow. So I spent the back end of last week getting that all ready to go. Other than that, everything's pretty much as normal. I haven't watched any wrestling this week.
Ooh.
No, it's good. I had a week off. Especially because right now fucking wrestling is just dumpster. Have you seen Twitter?
No.
Oh my god.
But see, I don't follow any Twitter wrestling stuff, so
it's fucking brutal right now. It's this big hashtag speak out movement. Everyone's just coming out and addressing the new all the other allegations of abuse and mistreatment within the wrestling industry.
Oh yeah.
So it's fantastic. Everyone's coming and stepping out and saying all these things. But yeah, it's a lot of allegations, and I hope some things come out of it in a good way. Because it looks as if it's not just WWE, it's not just the big guys, it's also the local guys, including Melbourne City Wrestling, the local one as well. Dashko's new site, not website, dude, new site for work, as in a new location. We're working out of 2 locations now in Geelong. But yeah, other than that, pretty chill. Not a whole lot. But it's been refreshing actually not watching wrestling, because the idea was Last of Us is coming. I'm not going to commit to anything else, and then we'll get the code on Monday. Didn't. Came Wednesday, which is fantastic. So thank you, PlayStation Australia, for the code. So I was like, all right, piss off SmackDown, piss off Raw. Priority is Last of Us. And then work got in the way, and then I didn't actually finish it before today. But you have.
I have.
And we'll get into that.
I did a monster 15-hour session yesterday and knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I'm like this close, but I'm like this close.
My wife took my kid out for the day, and I'm like, I'm going to stay in trackies. I'm going to play some Last of Us. I'm not doing anything.
But before we jump into the news for this week, we should do, as I do every week, in order to keep me publicly accountable, Ryan Get Less Fat update. Hit a new low this week, Max, in a good way, not one of those bad lows. I am now 17 kilos lighter after 2 weeks of a straight up plateau period where nothing fucking happened. Then my buddy went, oh yeah, and then fucking went down another because I did go back up a little bit, about 2 kilos. Just mint.
Nice.
Absolutely mint.
I've been terrible this week. I don't want to talk about it. We did the. I can't be bothered cooking. Yep, sounds good. Eat frozen pizza. And then the next night, I had people over for dinner who wanted pizza. So I ended up eating pizza like 3 days last week. I'm just like, I don't want to talk about.
Well, I had the temptation pizza this week. So we went socializing last night with my wife's friends. Because it's one of these things of we always do stuff with my friends. My friends are always here. We're always doing something. Millie never sees her friends. So I'm like, let's go see your friends. And they had pizza. And they had the pizza that I love. Because like I used to love meat lovers and shit, but like it's just too dense now, and I've kind of stepped away from it. So Aussie with the garlic prawns from Bubba's Pizza. Oh, delicious. And sure enough, when I went to Millie's friend's place, they had 3 pizzas, one of them Aussie with garlic prawns. I'm like, Lord's testing me right now. Hello, Lord, I see you. Well, I don't see you because you're not real. But if you were real, you'd be testing me right now.
Jeez.
That's my personal opinion. There you go. Fun fact. On a Sunday. On a Sunday of all days.
Fun fact on a Sunday. Jeez.
Anyways, let's get into the section we call Inform the Players, where we tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation. E3 week, or faux E3 week, sort of kicked in a gear this week.
Yeah, so we had we had EA Play announcements earlier this week. So as we all know, E3 got cancelled. Almost everyone's doing their own shows. So the announcements that came out of EA Play are, there is a new skate game in development.
Yes!
They said it's super duper early days, but it's happening.
Yeah, man! Before we even touch anything else, let's just break it bit by bit, because a couple of things that happened here. The hell? It's been like a decade.
Yeah, well, with the resurgence of, obviously, the Tony Hawk's coming back out, I think they wanted
Skater XL, literally trying to cut their lunch.
I think they've realized that fans really want this, and they're like, okay.
I did enjoy that. Like, you guys commented this into existence.
They're probably just sick of people being like, so Skate 4? So Skate 4?
Is this Skate 4?
Is it Skate 4? We have an announcement next week. Skate 4?
We're announcing a new Star Wars game. Is it Skate 4?
Does it have skateboards in
it? But no, I love the Skate series. I personally think, especially the later half, the latter half of the Tony Hawk franchise, the Skate series was by far better.
Couldn't agree more. Skate is fantastic.
Yeah.
They showed 10 whole seconds of Dragon Age 4 footage. Thanks, guys.
Wait, they did?
Yep.
Oh, I watched that. I didn't see that.
Yep, 10 seconds of footage. That's all it was.
I missed it.
Woo. I guess it's coming eventually.
Cool that they Skyrim 5 that bad boy.
They showed off some more Star Wars Squadrons. They showed the campaign, some multiplayer, and massive fleet battle gameplay. Also announced for PSVR.
That game looks dope.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it last week because the reveal happened after the show.
It came out Monday. It was leaked and the trailer showed the day after, I think, or a couple of days after.
Yeah, so it was announced this week. Yeah, Star Wars Squadrons. It's essentially like first-person vehicular Star Wars combat. It's in space. It's Imperials versus the New Order, like New Order versus the Resistance, because it's set after Return of the Jedi by the looks, but not quite at Force Awakens. So it's in that middle window. So it's a squad based. You know, you have 4 or 5. Is it 4 people in a squad? 4,
possibly.
4. Well, there's 4 different ship types.
Yeah.
So it would make sense to be a squad of 4. Then it's 4-on-4 with an AI squad with you, and then you'd have like 2 different dogfights, and then attack on smaller ships and then take on a big ship. And it's all in VR, which is amazing, and it's crossplay. Sorry, crossplay? Yes, that's right, sir. Yes, crossplay. Which is awesome. So I was talking to Paris about it, my boss, and we're like, can we bring this into work somehow? Okay, he's like, go on. I'm like, it's crossplay, means any of our clients can play it on whatever device they want. It's squad based, therefore we have to work as a team, and we can all have different roles.
And we got VR.
And VR for funsies. He's like, son of a bitch, man.
Haze Light, the developer behind A Way Out, announces It Takes Two to be the next title, another co-op platforming game.
Hope he uses that remix by like Fat Man Scoop. That's a good song.
It looked alright.
Dude, I love that guy. He's great.
We also got Lost in Random coming out of the EA Originals program.
I actually love the idea of
that.
So
that looked like a kind of like a Tim Burton inspired.
Yeah. So the premise of the game is So although you're living,
it looked really cool.
Although you're living in a town called Random, everything about Random is in fact not random. Everything is scheduled, structured, boom, and with the idea that your favorite color is picked. Like everything about you is predetermined. You cannot make any change. The whole idea of this is bringing in randomness and changing the world around you and understanding that change is important, that change is incredibly important, and what's needed for life. Another thing that I'd love to bring into work. Shout out EA for 2 possible Gen U Gamer titles, by the way.
We got Rocket Arena that looks to be a 3v3 hero shooter where you need to knock people out of the arena.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh, it's alright.
It's like Quakey shit.
And then obviously we got the FIFA and Madden 21 show-offs of the PS5 versions with a purchase the PS4 version upgrade for free when it becomes available on PS5.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
So that was cool, obviously shouting out that they realize, because I think their games normally come out October, November. Mm-hmm. So they're like,
yeah, it's around about mid-October.
It's about the time where, they'll either be coming very soon or might already be here. So they're like, once we eventually, inevitably re-release this on PS5, you will get your upgrades for free. Woo, good. Awesome. That was pretty much it that came out of the EA Play announcements.
It was pretty, EA have always sort of been like the lower end of the E3 conferences.
Obviously, it kept fans happy with Skate. It showed that they're still working on Dragon Age 4, even though they showed us next to nothing. Mm-hmm. Squadron looks rad. And yeah, it showed off a few cool stuff.
Would you rate it?
It was alright. It was alright. I didn't watch it live. I watched it after the fact, so I kind of just...
Yeah, I watched it at my desk. Not live.
Wasn't too bad. Obviously, the big one for me was...
Command & Conquer was there as well, for those that like Command & Conquer Remastered.
Yes. Obviously, the big one for me, though, is definitely to hear that Skate is coming at some point.
Super, super keen. It does make me wonder, as I said, especially with the market right now, if Tony Hawk coming back, because Tony Hawk does play differently, but Skater XL, I've not seen how Skater XL is played, or even Session, right? There's 2 other Skate games that have literally designed to be the spiritual successors to Skate. Now, obviously, Skate's going to be at least a year to maybe 2 years out, minimum. But are they going to learn from these potential competitors? Are they going to come out and decimate them? Because it's one of those things. It's the same thing with Tony Hawk, right? Tony Hawk worked really well at that time, but if they don't make any minor change, if they don't make some changes to it, it's going to seem incredibly old and outdated. Not in a good way.
Cyberpunk 2077 delayed again. Initially delayed until September 17th, Cyberpunk has received another delay until the 19th of November. Despite this delay and speculation of next-gen consoles releasing close to that date, CD Projekt Red still are adamant that this is a current-gen title. They did, however, say it will work on the next-gen consoles at launch, but won't have all the fancy bells and whistles until it receives its proper update in 2021 completely free. CDPR pretty much state the game is ready to play, everything's in there, everything's ready to go, but they feel it will take them a little bit longer than initially thought to bug fix and QA to the standards they want. They use the phrase, it's ready when it's ready in their press statement. So,
you're probably more excited about this game than I am.
I'm super keen, and this is totally CDPR. Obviously, a lot of people are super hyped about this after the fantastic success that they had with Witcher 3. And I think that... yeah, I'm Buddy Watts in the chat, selfishly happy about the Cyberpunk delay as a non-pro owner. Can't wait to play it on PS5.
Oh, Buddy's like,
sure.
Peace, I'm out. Ooh, Cyberpunk, I'm back. Fuck that Cyberpunk. All right, I'm out again. Bye. I completely agree.
I would prefer them to push it a couple of months and be like, we want it to be how we want it to be when it's released. Which is fine.
The thing that I have with Cyberpunk's not, it's a game that's on my list. I'm like, oh yeah, I could check that out. But it's not a number one for me. But I'm certainly keen to check it out. And I do wonder whether there's a lot of behind the scenes things that are kind of quote unquote wrong with it that we don't know about, or that they're sort of stuck in this almost need for perfection. Like when you've got the unbridled success that was The Witcher 3, you are going to have part of you will be
I mean, but look at
because if in any way it's not brilliant, not perfect.
Yeah. But look at the scope and scale of Witcher 3 and how many integrated systems that they had to QA test for that. Surely would take them longer than a month and a half.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because they've also got their Night City live event at the end of this month. I think it's in a week. And they're also stating that press will have copies from that point on. So they're kind of like, you know,
what's that weird line of like, whether
the
they are sort of, you know, builds, but not quite like full release? Because like, you know, it's very common knowledge that a lot of big games press, which are like the ones be getting the access to this information, will have debug units, so they could just do what they need with it. But yeah, because I have seen some bit of comments around the internet space around them having, you know, like, well, it's not ready to go, but press are already getting it. It's a bit fucking weird. I agree, it's a bit weird.
So, like, an excerpt from their press release was, "It's all there, but with such an abundance of content and complex systems interweaving with each other, we need to properly go through everything, balance the game mechanics, and fix a lot of bugs. A huge world means a huge number of things to iron out, and we will spend the additional time doing exactly that."
Cool. It's one of those things. There's no problem with it being delayed. Good on you. Whatever. Do what you got to do. Do something to do in November, I suppose.
Let's talk some spoods. Spoods. Sony's upload of Marvel's Spider-Man Myles Morales trailer had over 10 million views on YouTube, but has since been removed due to a copyright claim made by French mobile games publisher Gameloft.
What? All right.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's back up, but yesterday it did get removed due to a copyright claim. From
so just add to the Cyberpunk, Buddy also adds, I don't think it's any different to a press showing or behind closed doors demo at an event. Very true, but the difference is they don't get to take it home. I think that's the current circumstances, I guess. And it depends on whether they're giving them a demo. If they're giving them a demo build, then yeah, that makes total sense. Like, of course. But if it's like, hey, here's the game, full game, we're just going to chuck some shit on it later. Because that has happened before. Like, you know, we've had, well, not us specifically, but like there's been games that have come out super early. I remember we got like Control like 3 weeks ahead, and even then it was being updated as we were going. Like as an example, like, yeah. So it's not unprecedented, but you know, we're in the middle of the year into November. It's a fucking long time.
So after all the confusion surrounding the new Spider-Man game being just a remastered DLC versus its own game, described on the PlayStation blog as, quote, a full story arc centered around Miles that takes place 1 year after Marvel's Spider-Man. Marvel's New York is Marvel's New York is covered in snow, and just before Christmas break, a war between an energy corp and a high-tech criminal army has broken out. Miles' new home in Harlem is at the heart of this battle. So it'll also take advantage of all the new features of the PS5, including near-instant loading, ray tracing, 3D audio, and improved 4D scans of its characters. Insomniac have also stated that it has, quote, much of Peter's story left to tell, hinting there could be a larger scale sequel to the original Spider-Man.
Of course it is. That'd be crazy not to.
But they're definitely suggesting that it's more in line to like Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Which we sort of speculated last week, which makes sense.
So they're just
trying. Anyone speculate?
They're kind of just trying to clean everything up and clear everything up, so everyone's got a succinct message.
See, it is very interesting.
The same message.
Every pod that I've listened to, every bit of news I've consumed, especially about reactions to that PS5 conference, they're like, "Cool." I imagine this is probably like a, you know, First Light DLC. That's cool. But everyone else, like all the general populace, are like, what? It's not a sequel. It seems like it's more of the populace's problem. That makes sense.
It's always the way. Let's talk some Mafia II.
Yeah.
Almost a month after its release, it's getting some updates, promising improved performance for Sony systems. The full patch list is addressed to reported concern that 2K account icon wouldn't remove from the screen.
I didn't say that, but I'm sure I believe it.
PS4 improved game performance on PlayStation 4 consoles.
I can hope so.
PS4 addressed a reported concern that the Enforcer trophy would sometimes not unlock on the PlayStation 4. Addressed reported concerns related to game audio, and addressed reported concerns related to refining its gameplay. Only PS4 issues.
I love it how they're just like, what's this one? Reporting concerns around to gameplay, audio, visuals. Well, look, we're just going to fucking rehaul the entire game, is what I'm saying. I'm so sorry. It's everything.
Yeah, so it's been getting a little bit of flack since it came out. Understandably so, I guess.
Yeah, the game was kind of bum. I didn't really do well.
Hopefully these updates will help it out and, you know, show it some love before the other 2 games are releasing?
Yeah, so there's a trailer went out for the remake this week as well as part of this little E3 thinga. It looks alright. It's that weird thing of I'm like,
because Mafia 2 got the full remake.
No, remaster. Mafia 1 is getting full remake.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like yeah. So that's good. Hopefully that.
I already finished it. I'm not going to play it again. Like my review stands.
My review stands. Last of Us. As everyone knows, Last of Us 2
is out now.
Released on Friday. After Friday's release of The Last of Us 2, it's been getting review bombed. The title has close to 30,000 user ratings on Metacritic, giving it a user score of 3.5.
We'll address that in our little review to chat.
Internet's man. In other news, or in better news surrounding Last of Us 2, a blind gamer posted a video of their reaction to the accessibility options found in Last of Us Part 2.
That guy looks like Dylan!
Quote, "This is what myself and others in the accessibility community have been advocating for so long. There's so much here. This is why we do what we do. This is why I work so hard to promote accessibility. This is why, because this is important."
We'll address that in our review as well, but the accessibility in this game is fucking ridiculous and like the best possible way. But yes, that gentleman looks exactly like our Dylan if Dylan had white hair. Like, it caught me off guard. I was like, oh, cool, why don't you get this accessibility? Oh my God, fucking Dylan. And then I was at work, I was like, Paris, who's this? He's like, is that Dylan? I'm like, no, it's not, but isn't it crazy? And then I came home and I was like, I'm going to test it on my kid. I'm like, hey buddy, who's this? That's Dylan. I'm like, fuck yeah. Shout out to that guy though, like, to put himself on the line like that, because, he can see was clearly moved by the options that Naughty Dog have put in this game. It's fantastic.
We got some Bugsnax news.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah. Let's see if I can pronounce this guy's name. I apologize in advance.
I don't.
Philip Tibidowski, the co-founder and president of Young Horses, says the game is, quote, a first-person adventure game where you play as a journalist who is sent a mysterious film from an adventurer named Elizabeth Megafig. He goes on to say, to talk about the haptic feedback that will feature prominently in Bugsnax. He says, quote, running around in the environment and feeling the different types of terrain under your feet while sprinting is really cool and really weird. It makes such a huge difference. It looks really fun. Because these are the guys that did Octodad, so it's got that little silliness. Yeah.
So we talked about that last week with the reveal. And we're like, yeah, it doesn't really look very PS5, but it looks charming.
Yeah. Speaking of PS5, we have some PS5 news.
Get wet.
Play has no limits is the new official slogan for PS5.
I guess I'm rebranding the show, everybody. Can only steal so many trademarks. Fuck.
Sony also won't be forcing publishers and developers to upgrade their existing PS4 titles onto PS5, but the process comes recommended with support from Sony. Previously, Sony confirmed that any new PS4 title going through certification after the 17th of July must be compatible with PS5. There was a statement on Twitter translated by Black Kite. The statement says that Sony's PS4 to PS5 upgrade program will be, quote, be done at the publisher's own discretion. However, the PlayStation maker will, quote, flexibly support any upgrades.
Sweet.
And also, PSVR is getting its first PlayStation 5 game, Lo-Fi. A spokesperson from the developer has said, quote, I can't really comment on anything other than saying yes, we will be on PS5, and no, we do not intend to release this on PlayStation 4. Interesting PS5 exclusive PSVR title.
Well, mate, like I said, it's good to know that at least the current model of PSVR will be
forwards compatible,
which is fantastic. No complaints about that. I do think with the power of the PS5, they'll be able to deliver a better VR experience, even on a lesser powered headset. Could be a win.
I agree. We've got some Horizon news. Coming from the game director, Mathis de Jong, confirmed there will be, quote, virtually no loading screens in Horizon Forbidden West.
Lots of Aloy squeezing through small spaces, though.
Quote, with the PS5's SSD, there will be virtually no loading screens. So in an open world game like Horizon Forbidden West, if you open up the map and fast travel from one end to the other, or restart from a checkpoint, It'll be super fast. When you boot up the game, you're right there, straight in the action. He also confirmed that the title is targeting a 2021 release date, so we could have it as early as next year.
March 2021.
Some quick bits. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, gets screenshot leaks confirming, or possibly confirming, a 9th of October release date.
Ew.
What do you reckon? Coming out this year.
Ew. Like, I saw the cover for it, I'm like, oh, that's gross. I haven't looked at the screenshots yet, but I'm like, okay, I have a feeling it's going to be handled poorly. Because it's a numbered sequel. It's Crash Bandicoot 4. And that's huge. Like, that's a big call. Like, because previously you could kind of like just piss off, Wrath of Cortex on, because it's not a numbered sequel. They're committed.
Kingdom Hearts is back with Melody of Memory, coming to PS4 later this year.
It's a rhythm game, yeah.
It is a rhythm game.
Oh, if Persona can do it.
That looks like you slide along a track and smack stuff into
No, thanks.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah. I bet you'll have a weird convoluted canon story.
Are you a
though.
Kingdom Hearts fan?
I am.
You big dog.
But there's too much of their games that classified as canon, and it's dumb.
Well, I was going to wonder because we were talking about last week with you being a big Square Enix.
Do I want to play all the like handheld Nintendo games? No. Do their stories matter? Apparently.
But why don't you play like the Fancy Pants
I
collection?
have.
On PS4?
I've played. I tried, but they don't play well.
Of course not, because they're on 3DS.
Insomniac Games confirmed that the female lombax from Ratchet and Clank trailer is playable.
Someone said it wasn't?
I don't know. They're just confirming that it is.
Okay. I thought that was very heavily implied in the trailer. Okay.
And the big news, which I put in the quick bits because there's literally nothing else to it. Warner Bros. Games to be announced at DC Fandom August 22.
Bet you it's that Harry Potter game.
Who knows? For last I heard, I'm pretty sure Warner Bros. Games were up for sale, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. That came out like last week. 100%. They're up for sale right now. It's baffling.
So apparently they got games to show at the virtual DC Fandom event on August 22nd.
Okay.
Will we see new Batman? Probably not. Do we want to?
It's a DC event and they announce fucking Ninja Turtles. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, whatever.
But that's it.
Cool.
Not
All
much.
right, let's get into the meat and potatoes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to reach over and grab this. Hang on. That's enough about what happened this week. Let's get into let's have a chat to the players. And this week we are chatting about The Last of Us Part 2. So this will be for the players PopCulturists review. Max has completed the title. I put 15 hours in. I'm like this close to the end. I just ran out of time before recording. So you're going to see it from slightly two different perspectives here. We will also address that there will be no spoilers in this review. We'll keep it as vague as as humanly possible. Now, we understand this game is very, very reliant on its story. Therefore, we'll do our very best to critique and add some extras to it, while also staying within that spoiler, non-spoiler range. We should mention that, yes, a big thank you to PlayStation Australia for providing us a review code that was provided to us earlier in the week. But of course, I still went and picked it up myself. I picked up the big collector's edition, and isn't the statue fucking huge?
Yeah.
So good. So huge. Anyway, The Last of Us Part 2 takes place after, unsurprisingly, the events of Last of Us Part 1, where we can see a continuation of the story of Ellie and Joel. How do you want to do this?
I don't know.
It's tough, isn't it? It's a tough place because, like, once again, there is a lot of things in here that we cannot discuss because we just don't want to ruin it for anyone. And we'll have to keep it that way. But we're gonna have to break down into its bites, right? So let's get some objective-y sort of quote unquote objective.
Well, I was going to say let's start with just like a general overview. What difficulty are you playing on? How are you enjoying it so far? Just give us that broadness.
I've been playing on moderate, so right down the middle. I was going to go a little bit lighter, but I decided against it, so I went right down the middle on moderate. And where I'm at right now, so I'm 15 hours deep. I'm really enjoying it, but I think I'm enjoying it for the reasons that people aren't liking it.
Fair enough. I finished it. I played it on a custom difficulty level because I originally played it on Survivor. And then I realized there's no trophy for that. So I decided to use the accessibility options in this game. And I left everything on Survivor except for resources, which I set to moderate.
Very nice.
So I kept the combat, the stealth, everything as hard as it possibly can be. I just gave myself a little bit more ammo out in the wild.
Well, let's go technical. Let's talk about how this game looks and runs and plays. This game is stunning to look at.
Yes.
Like, there are moments when it's just unquestionably amazing. From, like, opening scene to where the last thing I looked at before we started recording today, I find it visually incredibly impressive. Like, something as simple as the foliage in areas. So when you're, this isn't new because this is in trailers, when you're crossing Seattle and you're going on your journey and you're going through all these series of locations and, you know, nature has taken over those locations and there is just grass and there is just foliage and all of it moves individually and small details within that work. Like, the locations, the character models for the most part are, I would say, near immaculate. I really like it. I think the game looks so well.
Now, you played this on a PlayStation 4 Pro.
I played it on a PS4 Pro, which was so fucking loud. I don't know what the difference is. I imagine it runs and looks great on PS4. I'm not.
Yeah, so I played it on a standard PS4 with HDR. Mm-hmm. I had no fan issues. My PlayStation did not want to fly away. It still looked good. It still looked great, I should say. I did have a few visual bugs. I had issues with entire character models disappearing from cutscenes. I had a bit of texture pop in and out depending on where I was.
I had some texture pop in with a letter or something. It just kind of, and then it kind of took a minute to jitter in.
I think the big one was that the character models just disappear, like straight up disappearing out of cutscenes. That might have just been a me thing.
I think it might be like a friend of the show, Ghost the Machine. Go check him out on Twitch. He's fucking fantastic. He was live streaming it, and there was a section early on where you're on a horse, and he jumped a barrier, but it wigged out, and the horse just kept moving around the map, and he couldn't get off the horse, and they eventually got off the horse, and the horse just kept doing it. And it was actually absolutely hysterical. Cass in the chat goes, numerous times I just stopped and looked, and I completely agree. There was many times I was like,
my PlayStation blue screened 3 times in the last encounter.
Get out, really?
which sucked. Luckily, the checkpointing system in this game is incredible, and I didn't have to do too much over again. But yeah, I had a rough time at the back end of it.
It sounds like you did.
Other than those, and I think they're just isolated issues for me, because my PlayStation blue screens every once in a while. She's old. I get it. She gets lots of use. She gets used. Other than that, you know, the gameplay is incredible. They kept all the good stuff from Last of Us Part 1. They added fantastic additions to it. It was great.
Yeah, like I've written. So in terms of the UI is improved. It's simplified, but you still get the same amount of information across.
It's a lot tighter. It's a lot crisper.
Yeah, and then like the crafting system is once additionally streamlined and awesome, and I love it. They've now added more movement to Ellie, where she can swim and climb and jump. So all these different things that really add up to that gameplay. Allows for that more stealthy gameplay if you so choose.
My favorite addition to this isn't really I don't think this is too spoilery, but Ellie has a knife now. You don't have to craft shivs every 10 seconds.
It's seen in the trailer. So she has a knife, so no more crafting of shivs. First thing I messaged you when we were playing. I'm
good.
No more shivs. You can just shank everyone. But what I love about that is that's actually forced me to be a more risky player than I did in the first one. I'd be like, I can just shank him. So I'm like, get up and close. I'm like, oh shit, and the clicker eats my face. Like, it's a very fine line, but I found that not having to craft the shivs, being able to just stab limitless, I was just thoroughly enjoying shanking things more. Sound design is tight. I love it. I've been playing with headphones on the whole time.
I'm the same.
And like, there's a later on where there's a big storm and like the thunder cracks. It's just, this is crystal. Absolutely love the sound design in this as well.
Yeah.
But this is where this is the tough part. We're probably going to get into deep here because obviously this review is going to seem very kind of like flat because we can't. There's things we don't want to talk about. However, we do have in the works a spoiler cast where it'll be Max, myself, and a guest. We are going to just go to ham on all the little nitty and gritty details here. But Max, you have some issues with the story.
Yeah, I have issues with the story. Pacing wise, the story's great. It gets you get to where you need to go very quickly.
Yeah, so the game is longer than the first one. This one's about 20 hours. You got it in 19.
Yeah, I think between 19 and 20. So, as a game, it's gameplay, its mechanics, everything is fantastic, and I can barely fault it. My issue is entirely with the story and how it's being told. Oh. And I literally cannot talk about it without bringing up story beats, and I'm not going to do that. So
as of right now,
tune in for the spoiler cast.
I don't have any major issues with the story yet because I'm not finished. Like it hasn't hit the big crescendo yet, so I'm unsure how that's whether that will change where I sit. So it was addressed it's in the collector's edition. It was addressed by Neil Druckmann. This game is all about revenge and hate. So for when you can on one side have sort of this unconditional love, you can also have this unconditional hate. And it's talking about the idea of having that hate consume you and having that need for revenge and violence and what that means and the whole conversation around violence causing violence and like, does that revenge cycle ever be closed? Because, the premise is brilliant. I really like what they're doing here in terms of the storytelling. So there is a dual narrative going on. There are two characters that have two different stories. And your issue is how those stories are structured, right?
Correct.
In the ordering.
Yep.
So what they're attempting to do with this dual narrative is they're demonstrating Allie and Allie's perspective and her side. But then additionally, we're seeing the antagonist side, and we're seeing how they're perceiving the world. Now, this isn't really spoilers because I'm not going to tell you what we see or how we see it, but it is very much a duality in that sense. So what they're attempting to do, and I think they do it reasonably well, is they're demonstrating that when one person's on a revenge story and that they're creating violence, like, and there is this constant retaliation of violence on violence and violence and violence, and it's this perpetuating never-ending cycle, and we're seeing that in motion. We're seeing both sides of these characters. We're seeing, in her story, she believes she's the hero. In the other person's story, they believe they're the hero. And I think that's what they're trying to tell here. And I think this is brilliant because there is so much grayness, there is so much morality, like weird spot morality in this game that I believe is such a cut from whatever else we're seeing when it comes to video games. Because what I'm seeing, I've seen a couple of critiques recently. They're like, "This isn't a video game. Where's the fun? Blah blah blah. It's just bleak and sad." And I'm like, yeah, because this is telling something different. If this is using the gaming medium to tell a very different story. Now, this is like a high up story. I'm not looking at those nitty and gritty details that you sort of had an issue with. Like from my overall perspective, like, what I love about The Last of Us Part 2, and I guess Last of Us Part 1, is in a world where when you get studios like Activision saying, "We're trying to say something with Call of Duty Modern Warfare." Like, really, what are you trying to say? And then they tell you fucking nothing. They're like, we have a goal here. This is what the story is going to be, and we want to show all of that story. We want to show the nitty, the gritty, the gross, the uncomfortable of that story. And I believe they've done exactly that. It's like the amount of people, the amount of gamers that want gaming to be represented as an art form and to be accepted as an art form and be respected as such, but then shit on a game that is attempting to do that is probably where I have a big issue. And I think that's why the review bombing's being done.
Look, I have an issue with the review bombing as well. Personally, I don't think it deserves as much flack as what it's getting. At the same time, I also don't agree with the 9s and 10s that it's been scoring.
I probably agree with that.
Like I said, the game itself, as a mechanical piece of tech, like as what it is as a game, it is brilliant and has very few, if any, faults. Like, the gameplay is immaculate. and there are so many what's the word I'm looking for? So many different systems in it that just work so well together, and it's purely just the story. It's not the story itself that I have an issue with. Like you said, the overarching story, this revenge story, is brilliant, and it fits because it's following on from part one. It's the way it was told that is my issue, and I think they could have done it a little bit better. But I think, to a degree, this is how it worked for them, and I respect that.
Yeah. So look, this once again, this isn't really heavy spoilers. This is just kind of the issue that you're having is because the order of storytelling is your protagonist, which in this case is Ellie, and then later on you play as the antagonist for a while. So you're seeing the duality, but you're seeing the antagonist after they've already done these particular actions or these circumstances that have taken place that put them in the eye of the antagonist for Ellie.
Yes.
Therefore, when you're playing as this character, you are already seeing. You are seeing them through a disdain. Yeah. You are seeing them negatively. So therefore, you're having a bias here. So even when they're trying to humanize these characters, you're already there going, why the fuck should I care about this person? But that's what they want you to do. They are trying to get you to maybe they're not trying to get you to care or maybe even empathize or understand. I think that's probably the big thing here. Because, not every story has a hero. Yeah,
I agree. And there were also parts in that, it was like, but do I have to do that? Like, can't I just not? Like, what will happen if that just doesn't happen? Like, do I have to be that at this moment in time?
Somebody in the chat also adds, the storytelling has been divine to date. Yeah, so that's where he's at, the 15 hours, yeah.
So I'll list off some of the things that I really enjoyed about this game.
Yeah.
So I can't remember if this was the case for Last of Us Part 1, but in this game, in Last of Us Part 2, none of the encounters that you do, like combat encounters, for instance, are necessary. It's not one of those you have to.
It's not Uncharted.
It's not Uncharted. It's not gated until everything's been defeated. It's not a wave shooter. If you're going the stealth route, which I did, you can pick off those that are in your way, and then you can continue on, and it'll be like, okay, you don't have to eradicate everyone.
Yeah.
Which I found really nice, and I think I can attribute that as to why my time may be a little bit quicker than others, and that was because I was playing that stealth route, and I was taking out as minimum of people as possible, because I just didn't feel it was necessary. And I also really hated doing in the doggos.
Yeah, the doggos is a rough one. But what I've enjoyed in once again, in the terms of telling the story here is how the ultra violence here makes you uncomfortable, and that's what once again it's that want. It's that what that the desire here was to make you feel uncomfortable, not in the same way that like Mortal Kombat's level of violence is like, but this is like guttural.
Yeah,
when you shank someone and then you rip out their throat with a knife and they make that gross gurgling sound. And when you see bodies that have been mangled at your hands or at somebody else's, you are left feeling you feel abhorrent. Like you look at this and this is disgusting. I feel. I can't think of the right word here. It's like heinous level of violence.
But even some of the melee weapons you can get a hand on. One of them is a gigantic hammer. And you instantly turn it around and use the pick side.
Yep.
And you just mush them. It makes you very uncomfortable. Like this is.
And then, as you said, it made you uncomfortable so much that you altered how you played this game.
Like this, as weird it is to say, this game is very rarely at a time fun. Like that's not why I chose to experience this game. Like I didn't play it for fun. I wanted the story.
Yeah.
And it's definitely one of those games that's more interesting in its story than it is fun to play. Similar
to Death Stranding.
Similar to Death Stranding, where the story was so immaculately told that it pushed you through even though you're essentially just walking around. There's very little gameplay to it. Obviously, there is a lot of gameplay in Last of Us 2. You still have all those combat encounters that you do from Part 1. But the story is the main focus of this game, not its gameplay.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think that's one of the reasons that everyone's sort of uppity about it. Now, I understand that there's probably additional to that there is because of the nature of Ellie's character and some of the things that are part of her, that there's a particular part of the industry that have an issue with that. And we've seen that be vocalized within just in general with the, when we saw the trailers of her and Dina smooching, I mean, like people have a problem with that. And like that's their own problem, personally. It's like, I have no issue with it because you're the one with an issue there, dude.
If anyone's finished it and wants to talk full spoilers with me, feel free to tweet at me.
DMs.
Yeah, slide on in because I would love to have a discussion with someone about what their thoughts are versus my own.
Yeah,
I would love to. I'd love to almost have my mind changed.
Because like they're like what I do because they are putting some of those points into sort of like that. Quote unquote left leaning political, right? Like with having a both two sort of two female main characters. They're on the steelbook, and there's not hiding the fact that Abby plays a big role. But then you've got Abby, who is a very jacked human being. Like she almost looks what's the word I'm looking for? When you're sort of gender fluid, right? Like she's feminine, but she's got like she's jacked. Like she's like UFC level fucking fighter jacked, and I love that because it's the idea is that you non-binary. That's what I wanted. Thank you. You didn't help me, but I got in there. I got there in the end.
Well done.
Yeah. So I like that part of it. I think that's a good way of telling that story because once again in the world that this is set, I find it fascinating to see things like that because it's survival. Right? And who survives in this circumstance? The fucking strongest. So for her, she's like, I'm getting fucking jacked. This is all items in the ending because I don't know what fucking happens after this. But I look at her because you see flashbacks and she's not jacked. I'm like, all right, cool. At some point, you decide to get jacked. Sick. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, because I'm sure for many people, they would look at it and go, oh, that makes me uncomfortable to see a woman with a clear, like, jacked physique. But, I'm cool with it. I think it's great, but yeah, and then having like even Allie being a lesbian as part of a character, which once again makes complete sense because that's who she is.
Yeah,
and then like
it's not a surprise to anyone who hasn't played the DLC.
If you played the previous Last of Us, surprise, you already knew. Like there is no surprise, and it would be a disservice for her as a character to not address that because that is who she is, and that is part of her. You know what I mean? And I think that's incredibly important. In terms of a representation standpoint. Yeah. What's your stance on that sort of them being more progressive, quote unquote? Becomes my child.
I'm with you. I have no problem with it.
Thank you, buddy.
It makes total sense. Obviously, they can't change Ellie as a character from what she was. It would be a horrible disservice to the character and to the story. Because that is exactly who she is. As for the other character that you mentioned, who is jacked, wish I could be that jacked. I'm not gonna lie, but again, her as a character is good. Like it fits her personality, it fits her character, and they stayed true to who she was or who she was designed to be, essentially.
Yeah. Once again, it's very difficult for us to like.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. But like we'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there. But
yeah. The only one thing I didn't like about this game, and I said it to you very early on, this is the worst version of Guitar Hero I've ever played in my life.
Yeah, so there are moments where as very similar to the statue, which Crayson in the chat does point out the statue is fantastic. There's guitars, and you can play you play songs on them, and uses the touchpad and the stick, and it's very fucking weird.
Yeah, so you strum with the touchpad. It's like they almost put it in just to be like, hey, remember that touchpad? Remember that touchpad that's on our controllers? This is why it's there. It felt so weird and forced, but like it was still all right.
Yeah,
I've seen people actually play like full songs on it.
Yeah, once again, Buddy Watts in the chat. Like I saw a tweet for his. He's like, I spent the last half an hour trying to play Creep. Yeah, by Radiohead. Well, yeah, that's very cool. But look, our more specific thoughts will be in the upcoming weeks, probably like a week maybe two, when I'll make sure everyone has enough time to play it, and we will be doing a full-blown spoiler chat with myself, Max, and a guest, hopefully, and we will go into all those nitty and gritty specifics, all those details, because that's what we want to talk about, but we just can't right now because we don't want to
spoil it for everyone else.
But mate, I'll post video of that when I can. Dude, I'm gonna see Buddy playing Creep on the guitar. All right, well let's get our final thoughts and we'll send this bad boy home. So, but as I mentioned, 15 hours in, I am so close to the end. Like, I'm right there, but from right now, I really enjoy the narrative that they are trying to tell here. Sure, I agree with you. There are some ways that they could have done it better, so I certainly don't, parts of it I don't agree that it is 100%, masterpiece. Everyone says it is. I do believe it is still exceptionally well made. It is visually stunning. The gameplay is tight. The character development is brilliant. I knew going into this game that I would enjoy it. Because for me, I like to see gaming be more than just what we're known to expect.
I agree.
Like your Call of Duties, like all this standard shit. That's not what I'm here for half the time. I think as I mentioned, I believe that disconnect between the user scores or the general community and reviewers is that idea of identifying games as an art form, and I believe that's that blurred line here, because a lot of people that are in games journos, they very similar to potentially the developers here at Naughty Dog, may be at that like the smell of their own farts level of just like games are an art, and for that reason that doesn't sit with the common consumer. So I think that there is a minor pretentiousness wrapped around The Last of Us Part 2, but even then, the game is still exceptional.
I'm the same. I definitely don't think it deserves the flack it's getting by its user reviews, and I also don't think it deserves the 9s and 10s that it's getting. But again, the gameplay is tight. It's fantastic. It looks great. It sounds great. And it tells its story the way it wanted to be told. Can
I just quickly address the review bombing thing? You know how fucking everyone out there who's review bombing. Can you not? Because it makes you look like a child. If you are so motivated that you want to just burn something to the ground, not even give it any sort of realistic score, you're like, you know what? I didn't know it's a 1. No, this game is not a 1. Any game that is you cannot make this game and call it a 1, right? Games that do not function, they're 1s. Yeah, and review bombing is just it makes gaming look bad. When you have games like The Last of Us who are trying to demonstrate that the gaming is higher and it should be respected and it is a form of art in some way, don't make gamers look like morons. All right? Here's one, if you want games that are probably going to be 1s, let's get to this section when we tell you what game is coming out this week in a section called Coming to the Players.
We finally have a drop, everyone, but I don't know if I like it. With the merging of the US and the EU PlayStation blogs, they've gotten rid of all the pictures and write-ups, and they've given me 2 dates of EU releases and US releases.
Well, the EU one's handy. We just do the EU.
The EU one is handy because obviously us as Aussies get the EU release dates.
What I do love though, so not us, but I was listening to a much superior and more popular PlayStation podcast, Sacred Symbols. Because they read when they do the drop, they read the description as well. They just made them up. Which I thought were fucking fantastic. Because they're like, I don't know, what does this sound like it is? Cool. But we don't do that anyway, so it actually works out well for us. Makes our life easier.
So first up, we have Assetto Corsa Competition PS4 out June 23.
The picture would really help with that.
It's a car sim game.
Oh, okay, sweet.
I know what that is. All good. It's all good. Bounty Battle PS4 out June 25th, only in our region. I won't do the next one because it's America only. Conan Chop Chop, PS4, out 23rd of June. Covert, PS4, out June 23. Firefighters, The Airport Heroes, out 24th of June. Hunting Simulator 2, out June 25th. Jump Step Step, PS4, out June 22. Indieocalypse, PS4, out June 26th.
A lot of these I'm sure we've heard before.
Little Town Hero, PS4, out June 23. Mad Runner, PS4, out June 23.
Mad Runner or Mud Runner?
Mad Runner.
Mad Runner, okay.
Octonaut, PS4, out June 24th.
If that is not based on the kids' TV show of Octonauts, we're devastated.
Pancake House, PS4, out June 23rd.
Pancake House!
Porumi, PS4, out June 24th. Party Pumper, PS4, out June 25th. Pushy and Pulley in Blockland, PS4, out June 26th. Rugby Challenge 4, PS4, out June 24th. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, what a mouthful, PS4, out June 23rd. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, PS4, out June 23rd. A Summer Without Shiba Inu, PS4, out June 24th. Tower of Time, PS4, out June 24th. And Ultra Core, PS4, June 26th.
So Speed, I almost said Speed Racer. Star Wars Racer being a big thumb up for me. I'll be jumping out on that this week. And because I think that, as we said at the start of the show, that in fact may be the Last of Us killer right there. Star Wars Racer. SpongeBob, I think I might pick up as well because my son's really starting to enjoy SpongeBob. So I think I might pick it up and it might be something he and I can play together.
So I believe it's a remastered, which is why it's
remastered the PS2 game.
Rehydrated.
Yeah.
Yep. Clever.
Very
I like
good.
it.
Very well done.
But that is it for things coming out this week.
Yep.
Which is a real shame. Anyway, this PlayStation podcast happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on the YouTubes. Please, if you'd like to join in future conversations, head on over to our socials, our Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. All the links are in our description below.
If you want to join this PlayStation conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures where you can watch us record this show live and be part of it. As, you know, like Buddy has. Like, Arctic Society. Great name, gave us a follow before. Grayson was here before. Dash was here before. A bunch of people that come. Cass. It's all good. We love having you guys here in the chat, and it adds a little bit extra to the show. It's awesome fun. If you want to support the show, you can by sharing the conversation. Tell your friends, tell your family about this little PlayStation podcast. Be sure to go to your podcast service of choice, star ratings, written reviews, all that crap. If you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, notification bell, all that junk. And of course, if you want to, you can support us financially at patreon.com/thepopculturists or buy our merch, popcultures.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players. Very high pitch, that thing. There's like a all bleak and it's like, For the Players. Man, it's really handy though. Like when they've changed it to whatever the place to play or whatever, I'm never gonna have a concern about this. They're gonna give no shits about For the Players as a slogan in a couple of months. We're in the clear, boys. We're in the clear. For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation podcast is fan-supported at patreon.com/thepopculturists. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: AJ Abatomi, Damien Holdies, Kyle Dunn, Lee Wintershoven, Nathan Massetti, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.